The CBS News investigation raising some new questions about this video. You will recall Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell in 2019, and it was ruled a suicide. Recently, the Justice Department released security video from the jail. One official called it raw footage, but we looked into it.
This was the nearly 11-hour video agents reviewed when they investigated the death of convicted child predator Jeffrey Epstein. Government officials say it's proof that no one entered his cell tier. Malfunctioning equipment meant only one camera recorded the general area, and that camera captured part of the common area, including the officer's station and a sliver of the staircase leading to Epstein's cell. CBS News has reviewed the tape, and this is what it shows. The primary entrance is here. The pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera, leaving ample room for someone to enter unseen. This is the last time Epstein is believed to have been seen on camera, but we don't see him walking up the stairs to his cell. Bongino also said none of this video was doctored. It was the original, raw footage from the camera. But a review by multiple video forensic experts found several indications this may not be raw footage. For example, at 11:21 p.m., a cursor appears briefly, indicating the video may have actually been a recording of a computer screen. Experts told CBS News the video's metadata, which tracks how a file is created and changed, shows it's made from two clips edited together. Then, at 11:58 p.m., the video suddenly jumps to midnight, and the aspect ratio shifts. Here's U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
There was a minute that was off the counter, and what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999, so every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing, so we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
But a government source familiar with the probe told CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of a copy of the video that records with no interruption.
These inconsistencies, while not contradicting the conclusion Epstein died by suicide, do introduce questions that the government so far has declined to answer. The Department of Justice, Adriana, has not responded to our request for comment.
Thousands of documents in these bags, supposedly burned bags at the FBI in the secret room.
Well, I want everything to be shown, as long as it's fair and reasonable. I think it will be shown, and it should be shown. And I think he feels that way, and I think Pam feels that way. But it's got to be, it's got to be stuff that really doesn't hurt people unfairly, because you have so many people involved. And if they can do that in a fair way, I think it's great. I think it's really great. The whole thing is a scam. It's a scam set up by the Democrats, and they love talking about it. But I would like to see people exposed that might be bad, and we'll see how that all works out. But it's getting to be very old news. If they had anything, they would have done it the week before the election, because they were losing by a lot. If they had anything, they would have done it. They controlled the file. The Democrats controlled it. Comey and all this, sleazebags, every one of them that you read about all the time. And I guess
we've uncovered sworn testimony from one of Jeffrey Epstein's most high-profile victims, and it flips the Epstein narrative you've seen in the media on the head. Well, there's a reason that this has been buried, and we're going to tell you why. But before we get into the story, please like, share, and subscribe to Explain America. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism, and it only works with your support. Now, let's break this down. You know her name, Virginia Giuffre. We just lost her recently in a very mysterious death, and she's been one of the most vocal and credible accusers of Jeffrey Epstein. You might have seen her with her picture with Prince Andrew. Well, let's go back to what she said under oath about Donald Trump, because it wrecks the narrative. In her sworn deposition in 2016, she was confronted about Donald Trump and whether he had ever engaged in anything inappropriate in her presence. Her answers could not be more clear. She said Trump never had sexual relations with any of the girls, never flirted with her, never visited the island, never visited Epstein's New York mansion, never visited Epstein's New Mexico ranch, and get this, she never even saw Trump and Epstein together. That testimony was under oath. Giuffre said she never saw Trump do anything inappropriate at all. This is how it went down. She was asked, quote, "Have you ever been in Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's presence with one another?" Unquote. Her answer, no. Again, Did you ever see Donald Trump at Jeffrey's home? Her answer, not that I can remember. Here we go. On his island, not that I can remember. In New Mexico, no, not that I can remember. In New York, no, not that I can remember. So, where did the Trump rumors come from? Jeffrey said flat out, quote, Jeffrey told me that Donald Trump is a good friend of his, unquote. That's it. Epstein name dropping. No evidence, no misconduct, no criminal connection. But he's in the files. Even more damning for the media is what comes next. When shown quotes that had been attributed to her in media outlets, she marked them false. She said she never told any reporter that Trump flirted with her or made creepy comments. And she never said he flew with Epstein. She confirmed that she worked at Mar-a-Lago, that her father knew Trump, and that's where her interactions stopped. So, where did the innuendo come from? According to Jeffrey, Epstein himself told her that Trump was a friend. Again, there are no photos of inappropriate behavior, no neck massages being given by any of the girls. So President Trump recently just went on record saying, once again, that he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. Why? Because Epstein was approaching girls who were working.
While everybody's talking about the Epstein files, let me show you the same pattern happening right here, practically in my own backyard in Wisconsin. Scott Soucek of Sturgeon Bay was just charged with 10 counts of possession of child pornography. He just happens to be married to Stephanie Soucek, the chair of the Door County Republican Party. Here's what's really disturbing. This wasn't his first time. Way back in 2009, he admitted to downloading child pornography to an investigator, but somehow that case was never referred to the district attorney for prosecution. The person who's investigating it now said that it remains unclear why that 2009 case never really went anywhere. Unclear? Really? But here's where it gets really twisted. Soucek's public Facebook page is full of posts condemning Joe Biden for groping children and ranting about moral decay and child trafficking. And just 1 month before the 2024 election, he sanctimoniously wrote, I'm voting to fight against human child trafficking. I'm voting for my children and my grandchildren to ensure their freedoms and their future. Sound familiar? This is exactly the Epstein pattern we keep seeing. Powerful people, or those connected to power, committing crimes against children, getting protected by the system while publicly presenting themselves as upstanding citizens. Just like with Epstein, we have to ask, who knew? Who looked the other way? And how many others are being protected right now because of their connections? The Epstein files show us that this goes all the way to the top, but it's happening at every level. Whether it's Epstein's network or Scott Soucek in Wisconsin, anyone who perpetrates crimes against children must face full accountability. No exceptions, no special treatment, no more decades-long cover-ups. And our elected officials, including some of the same politicians who stayed quiet about Epstein for years, they need to speak up, and now. Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. Stop protecting predators in your own circles. This cannot be about politics when children are being hurt. The Epstein files showed us how big this is and how deep this goes. Now we're seeing it play out locally. No more sweeping this under the rug. No more protecting people who hurt children just because of who they know or the connections they have. If this pattern exists from the highest levels down to local politics, how many more cases are being covered up right now? Let me know what you think in the comments.